guys, that's good. Let's break for lunch. We'll start up again at 2. Chloe.
Thank you for seeing me, Mr. Pierce.
Will. The only one who calls me Mr. Pierce is my housekeeper, and I keep trying to get her not to. Now, I've been reading your pieces for years. I love the one about Eric Clapton and his relationship with George Harrison and Pattie Boyd.
Oh, why, thank you.
All right, so let's talk about Alan. All right. Now, did you know that his sales have gone up every decade since the 1970s? There are Alan Phoenix fan clubs in 24 countries, and the last time I checked, there are 380 professional Alan Phoenix impersonators. And those are only the ones we know about. Now, here's a press kit. Right? Now, something that's not in there that you can write about is that we're putting together an album with covers of his songs with a lot of big musicians. I mean, we lined up everyone from Elton John and Paul McCartney to Lady Gaga. This isn't what you're interested in, is it? All right? What do you want to know?
What really happened? And why?
The whole hard-hitting investigative journalist thing, huh? Digging deep to find a hidden story?
Something like that.
All right, well, I probably can't tell you anything about him you haven't already read, and I'm not going to confess to crimes against humanity. At least none that aren't already on public record. So, as long as you understand that, fire away.
When you first started working with Alan, was it already clear that he was having problems?
Look, Chloe, this is a tough business, all right? But I did not take on an obviously sick Alan Phoenix and chew him up and spit him out so we could overdose on heroin, right? Sure, he was doing grass and who knows what else, but so was just about everybody else in the business. Did he act a little strange sometimes? Yeah, but he wasn't the only one. You know, I had 30 acts under contract, and keeping track of the behavioral idiosyncrasies of every member of every group would have been a full-time job. Now, I liked Alan, I really did, all right? But the best I could do was to sign him so he had a home, give him a check every month so he wouldn't have to worry about putting food in his mouth, and give him the time and space to create. And I kept paying that retainer long after it was clear that neither one of us was going to get rich off his records anytime soon.
What were the recording sessions like?
Like nothing I'd ever seen before, or since. You know, on Tomorrow Was Perfect, he'd play and sing, and as complicated as a lot of that material was, he always got it on the first take. And if we ran out of material, he'd just kind of space out for an hour or two and come up with something else we could use.
Space out?
Well, not in a bad way. I mean, his eyes would sort of lose focus and, well, he'd start talking to himself. A lot of the way he worked was pretty unusual, even by 70s rock music standards. But it's ready.
Hello, Robert.
Hello, Alan.
Do people or whatever you are like that still have to do that?
I do. Don't know about anybody else. I'll let you get to it, shall I?
No. I need your help.
You know, I know I'm supposed to be your mentor and all that, but isn't that something you normally do by yourself, or do you need help finding it?
Oh, I can find it all right, but sometimes it takes 2 people to lift it.
All the same, I'll let you struggle with it best you can.
No, I'm not in here for that.
Man.
To record, of course.
Of course. In here. Why?
I've been meaning to ask you that.
Don't look at me.
Oh, come on, I read about it in 3 biographies and on the liner notes of the King of the Delta Blues album. In March of 1935, you spent 3 days recording in room 414 at the Gunter Hotel in San Antonio.
The Gunter? Is that what this is about?
Spent most of the time singing into the wall.
The acoustics weren't for shit. It was the only way I could hear what I was playing. You got a recording studio out there, for Christ's sake.
And when you weren't singing in the wall, you were in the toilet.
Bad bunch of clams. I should have never trusted them that far in.
Playing and singing.
I was in there for hours. Wasn't much else to do.
And recording.
I thought I might as well be doing something productive.
You know, when are you going to start telling me the truth? Huh? When are you going to start showing me the magic?
I already told you. There ain't no magic.
And there ain't no devil.
Well, there is, but she never...
She? The devil's a she.
Sure. Some of the time. But she... I don't want to talk about it, huh? She didn't have anything to do with the music anyway. Leastwise, not with my music. Okay, she did. But I never made no pact. Ishman did, and so did some of the others. Tom and Johnson definitely. And maybe Garfield Akers, but... I don't want to talk about it. And don't you go believing anything about Big Joe Williams. He always denied it, and I believe it.
But I didn't say
I
anything.
said I don't want to talk about it. Now, can we get out of here?
Watch out for that this time, yeah?
That's fair. Now, where were we?
Big Joe Williams.
No, before that.
The devil.
Before that.
Singing into the toilet. And how there isn't any magic.
That's right. There ain't no magic.
Sure there is.
No, there ain't. Just talent, which you have plenty of. Okay. Talent ain't enough. You gotta work to make your chances. And that ain't gonna happen if you keep on doing that shit. told you was true. There ain't no magic. But there are tricks. And I'll show you some. But you gotta be careful. Because tricks, they like frosting. It looks appetizing, and it's nice around the edges. But you don't make a cake with just frosting. Even if you could get it to stand up with nothing inside, it wouldn't satisfy you now. Or anybody else. All right, boy, give it here.
Want some frosty?
I'd go now and then and listen at the door. But there was always something going on. Alan experimenting on the guitar, Alan talking to himself. And some of what he came up with was pretty familiar, but some of it was like nothing I'd ever heard before. But somehow it worked. And by the time he was ready to record, it was all blended together, a bit more, a bit different.
If things were going so well, why did it take a year to release the album?
Well, it's not like he'd come out of the loo 10 minutes later wearing a Superman costume. I mean, sometimes he'd be back in an hour, sure, but sometimes he'd disappear and I wouldn't see him for a week.
Did you think that the album was going to be a hit?
I thought it had a damn good chance.
So what went wrong?
Well, it's not like you can predict these things. You know, as much as everybody wishes it was, it's not a science. Now, Tomorrow Was Perfect sold 5,000 copies. Now, I tried to convince him that was pretty good for a first release by a solo act, but Alan had gotten it into his head that he was going to be a big smash. And when it didn't happen, well, he took it pretty hard. Most of the ones who survived back then did it because they refused to get discouraged. Isn't that right, Shay?
Sure, no, that's you here. Sure. Friday night to Liverpool to play for 15 apprentice pipefitters and their ladies in the Union Social Hall. Saturday up to Newcastle to play the open night band competition at the YMCA. Then Monday back to London, but make sure you stop by the 5th floor of the downtown Luton car park to play for the crowd that gathered to watch the fights every night when the pubs closed down.
And Alan wouldn't do that?
Wouldn't. Couldn't.
What I told you about the pipefitters, I didn't make that up. Alan and I were booked on the same tour. We drove up there together, sleeping in the car, sharing a pint and an order of chips every day for breakfast. By the time he went on, everybody in the room was half pissed about what you'd expect from a bunch of blokes who'd just spent the week welding the inside of ship hulls. Me and all the other acts, we did whatever we could to keep that crowd under control. Tell jokes, dance, turn the volume up past the threshold of pain. Hell, if I'd have thought it would keep me from getting brained with a beer bottle, I'd have pulled out Percy and wanked on stage. But Alan, he shuffles out, head down, and he plays one of those quiet, depressing ballads. It wasn't lively enough to keep the crowd interested, and it wasn't loud enough to, they couldn't talk over it, so that's what they did, they talked over it. And then he spends like half an hour retuning his guitar for the next song. A few people started to get a bit impatient, and they let him know. Nothing personal, just some good-natured heckler. Alan ignores them, and I guess maybe they felt he couldn't hear them, so the heckling gets louder. And then midway through the third song, he just up and walks off the stage. I looked for him until 4 in the morning. I don't know where he went or how he got back to London, but I did the rest of that trip alone. In his car.
When was that?
It was the second week in September. I remember because it was a week before the concert at the Odeon.
Oh, yes. The Odeon. I knew you were there.
Jesus. I was in the opening act. But of course nobody remembers the rest of us because we didn't get booed off the stage and then go home and blow our brains out and skag and choke on our own vomit.
Alan didn't get booed off the stage. And you wouldn't have been paying attention anyway. You'd have been in your dressing room getting stoned.
I was. And so was Alan.
that's enough now. Smells one thing, shit-faced another. You the one that's got to go out there, not me.
Give it back.
Alan Phoenix, 5 minutes.
Knock him dead, buddy.
I don't want to go out there.
Oh, stop kidding around, Phoenix.
And I don't want to be a spook, babysitting for some poor English white kid. We both got to do things we don't want to.
No. No, what if it happens again?
It happens. You get over it.
You get over it.
Oh, God.
You got to be able to take it and not even come back swinging. No!
Oh, just knock down!
Let it go!
You gotta go out there.
Come on. Please. Will you help me?
Of course I will. Hell, if Big Joe Williams hadn't been there a couple of times, I would have sat in the corner sucking my thumb instead of coming out to play.
All right. Come on.
The Hammersmith audience pleased to introduce a great new singer-songwriter. His first album, Tomorrow Was Perfect, is about to be released on the Piercing Records label. Ladies and gentlemen, the sensational Alan Phoenix.
Floating, sinking down. Will I rise again? Carry me away. Can I rise again? It's simple. Complicated. Can you help me rise?
He was that weak.
You could barely hear him. The sound guy kept playing with the volume, but he never could get it right.
And he opened for us again.
Of course he did.
Not no ordinary life.
He didn't even sing that.
Yes, he did. He closed with it. And he did start the way Shady started, but after a couple bars he found it, and he came on really strong.
That's bullshit. I thought he was gonna cry the way the crowd got on him.
I don't know where you got that.
I was right next to the stage through the whole set.
And then the applause got stronger after every song.
He could barely finish.
You know, maybe that's the way you want to remember it, huh? Because he made it and you never did.
Alan never fucking made it. You did. You made it.
Sure I did. That's the way it works.
If you could make it happen for Alan now, why couldn't you make it happen then?
The world wasn't ready.
Not this again.
What is it now, Rick?
Oh, the whole tragic genius ahead of his time thing.
What is your problem? That I made Alan, I never made you?
Yes!
Oh, I'm sorry, Shay. There's got to be something to better work with. You know, they were really close. Jaden was never quite the same after Alan's death. And when I was talking about the world not being ready, I wasn't talking about Alan's music. I was talking about the technology. Right? Now back then, if you wouldn't tour, there was no chance. Today, we just make a video. We post it on YouTube. You know, I'd market the hell out of it. We'd get a zillion hits a day, and we'd land a $100 million advertising contract.
But you made another album with it.
I didn't know that he was never going to perform before a live audience again. It's not like he put an ad in the Times announcing he was retiring to that filthy bedsit in Birchton. You know, no, I didn't see him very often after that, but he came by the studio twice a month to pick up his checks. And every couple of visits, he'd leave a tape with new material. You know, we produced the entire Titan Arrow album without ever seeing him.
But there was that interview in NME, the one that made it sound as though he was getting better.
Yeah, I paid a lot for that one.
But was he getting better?
I don't know.
Who would?
Shay.
I was afraid that's what you were going to say.